The popularity of the war party rose as the Mexicans became more oppressive in their rule. In 1833, Antonio López de Santa Anna was elected as the new president of Mexico. In 1835, Santa Anna took away all local rights for Texans. This moved the Texans and Mexico to the brink of war. Even former peacemaker Stephen Austin echoed the call for the colonists to take up arms against Mexico. Among those who responded to the call to battle the Mexicans was legendary frontier rifleman and Tennessee Congressman Davy Crockett. On October 2, 1835, fighting broke out at the Battle of Gonzales, and the Texas Revolution was underway. Santa Anna began the Goliad campaign to crush the rebellion. He sent General Martín Perfecto de Cas to lead an army of 800 to establish Mexican military posts at Refugio, Goliad, and San Antonio. In response, Stephen Austin went with a group of a few hundred, calling themselves the Army of the People, to surround Cas and his army in San Antonio. With Sam Houston, the Texans took the Mexican post at Goliad and then drove Cas and his army into the Alamo, an old Spanish Catholic mission in San Antonio. Cas surrendered. The Texans let the Mexican troops go and rejoiced in their triumph. The victory was short-lived. Santa Anna himself took command of the campaign in Texas, leading an army of nearly 6,000 troops. Sam Houston realized that there was little that could be done to stop Santa Anna from overtaking the forces at the Alamo. He sent Jim Bowie to destroy the Alamo before the Mexicans could use it to protect San Antonio. Instead of destroying it, Bowie tried to hold the Alamo, occupying it with a group that included Davy Crockett, William Travis, and other volunteer militiamen. On February 24, 1836, Santa Anna and his troops arrived at the Alamo and demanded surrender. In response, the Texans fired their weapons upon the Mexicans. The Mexican forces bombarded the mission with artillery fire for 13 days, until the fort was destroyed. On March 6th, the Mexicans climbed over the bombed-out walls and entered the barracks, killing every American in the Alamo, including Jim Bowie and Davy Crockett. On March 2, 1836, the Texans declared independence for Mexico. It was a gesture of defiance, much like the U.S. Declaration of Independence on July 4, 1776. Shortly after the Alamo siege, Santa Anna began his move to take Goliad. General Jose Herrera, under Santa Anna's command, marched up from the Matamoros up along the Texas coast towards the town of Goliad and the Goliad fort, the Presidio La Bahia. This garrison was commanded by James Walker Fannin. Fannin was a very brave man, but unfortunately was not a strong military leader. He thought that his troops should retreat from Goliad, but he hesitated. Finally, Sam Houston ordered him to retreat, but he still delayed leaving. As he began his retreat northward to rendezvous with Houston on the Colorado River, it was already too late. On an open prairie between Goliad and Victoria, General Herrera's cavalry and Fannin and his men met and fought the Battle of Coleto. They were overwhelmed and forced to surrender. The garrison was marched back to Goliad. Under the direct orders of Santa Anna, the majority of Fannin's Goliad troops were marched out and shot. Santa Anna figured that the siege of the Alamo and the massacre at Goliad would crush the morale of the rebels. He was wrong. Instead, the losses only intensified the efforts of the people in the United States to help out the Texans. Remember the Alamo and remember Goliad became rallying battle cries for the Texas and U.S. rebellion. While the details of the Texas Constitution were being debated, Sam Houston retreated east with his army toward the Gulf Coast port of San Jacinto. It was there that he fought the decisive battle of the Texas Revolution.
Santa Anna actually assured the Texian success by separating himself, the commander of the army, from the main bulk of the army and going off with a very small detachment in an effort to capture the Texas government. Well, they didn't capture the Texas government, but they did place themselves in a position to be cut off by Sam Houston and his rebel army. And that army attacked on April the 21st, 1836.
When Santa Anna's troops stopped to rest, Houston and his troops were hiding nearby. Houston ordered a bridge behind the Mexican troops burned down so that neither the Texans nor the Mexicans could escape from the areas surrounded by water. Houston led the charge, and the Texan forces wiped out the Mexican forces, taking Santa Anna prisoner. The Mexican dictator was forced to sign a treaty acknowledging Texas as an independent republic and expanding its borders. As soon as Santa Anna was released, he and the Mexican legislature renounced the treaties as illegal and refused to acknowledge Texas sovereignty. They made no effort to reclaim Texas for fear of ending up in a war with the United States. Andrew Jackson recognized the independent Republic of Texas on his last day in office as President of the United States.